Assalamu alaikum dear students. Here is your chemistry teacher. Today we will discuss London Dispygian forces. We have already discussed dipole forces and other types of intermolecular forces. Today we will be discussing those forces which are present among the non-polar molecules. Basically, London Dispygian forces is the type of intermolecular force which exists in all types of molecules, whether polar or non-polar, but this is the only force which is operating in non-polar molecules. For example, noble gases, halogens like fluorine, chlorine, bromine, iodine, and hydrocarbons, the compounds which are made up of carbon and hydrogen only, and other non-polar molecules. This is the only force which is responsible for the liquefaction and solidification of the noble gases, halogens, and other non-polar molecules. It is also known as instantaneous dipole induced dipole forces. The main difference between London Dispygian forces and the dipole forces is that the dipoles created in the dipole forces are permanent dipole, as the molecule there is polar. But in the case of London Dispygian forces, the dipoles created are not permanent dipoles, but they are instantaneous dipoles and induced dipoles. So these type of forces are very short-lived and very weak forces. London Dispygian forces is weaker than dipole forces due to this major factor. Instantaneous dipole is a temporary dipole that exists as a result of fluctuation in the electronic cloud, and this instantaneous dipole induces the polarity in the neighboring molecule, neighboring unpolarized atom, and as a result induced dipole is created. So these type of forces is basically exist between instantaneous dipole and an induced dipole and are also known as instantaneous dipole induced dipole forces. The London Dispygian forces, they are defined as the momentary force of attraction. Why it is known as the momentary force of attraction? Because these type of forces are very short-lived and for a very short period of time. As the polarity in the instantaneous dipole vanishes, the London Dispygian forces vanished. Okay, now comes the point that on what factors the London forces depends. The strength of London forces depends upon three major factors. First factor is atomic size and molecular size. Now, how atomic and molecular size is going to affect the strength of London force? As the size of the atom or size of the molecule increases, the distance of the nucleus and the electrons, it increases, and as a result it becomes easier for the molecule to get polarized. As the attractive forces in the case of bigger size molecule and bigger size atoms, they are weaker, and it is easier for a bigger size atom to get distorted, to get polarized, and hence we can say that the strength of London forces, it is directly related with the atomic and molecular size. Greater the atomic size, stronger would be the strength of London Dispygian forces. So we can say that why the boiling point of inert gases, we observe it, that boiling point of inert gases, it increases from top to bottom in a group. For example, we can say that helium, neon, argon, krypton, xenon, radon, the boiling point of radon is higher as compared to helium. Why? Because they are noble gases, they are non-polar, they exhibit London Dispygian forces, and from moving top to bottom in a group, the atomic size is increasing, and as a result the ability to get polarized is also increasing, and ultimately it resulted in the increase in the boiling point of the inert gases. Okay, the physical state of a substance and the boiling point, they are directly related with the strength of intermolecular force. So we can say that the boiling point of radon is higher, the boiling point of krypton or radon, xenon, they are higher than helium and neon, because the intermolecular forces in this particular case, London forces, they are much stronger in xenon, radon as compared to helium. Next comes the size. Next comes the polarizability. This is the second major factor which is affecting the strength of London forces. Polarizability, in simple words, it is ability to create poles. As I have already told you that in London Dispersion forces, poles are created in non-polar molecule. Temporarily dipoles are created. Instantaneous dipoles are created. So polarizability is a measure of the ability to create poles. The proper definition is the quantitative measurement of polarizability is the extent to which the electronic cloud can be polarized. Yeah, in other words, you can say to which the electronic cloud can be distorted. Okay, on what factors polarizability depends? Polarizability is directly related with the size of the atom or size of the molecule. Greater the size of the atom, greater will be the polarizability. As I have already told you in atomic size factor, that with the increase in the size of the atom, the distance of the nucleus and the outermost electron, it increases. The hold of the nucleus is decreasing. The attractive power, the attractive forces of the nucleus is decreasing, and as a result, it becomes easier for a bigger size atom to get distorted, to get polarized. So in that particular case, we can also say that down the group, from moving from helium to radon, the polarizability is increasing because of the increase in the atomic size. So one thing more, that the physical state of a substance is also related with the strength of intermolecular force. Stronger the intermolecular force, the greater is the tendency of a substance to exist in the solid state. For example, we can say that fluorine, chlorine, bromine, iodine, they are all halogens. But iodine exists in the solid state and fluorine and chlorine, they exist in the gaseous state. Why? Although both of these elements, they belong to same group, but the physical state is entirely different. So that's why we can say, in this case, we can say that the physical state of a substance is directly related with the strength of intermolecular force. Halogens are non-polar, and the only force which exists in non-polar halogens, fluorine, chlorine, bromine, iodine, is London dispersion forces. And now you will relate the factors of the London dispersion forces, polarizability and atomic size with it. As you know, the size of the iodine is greater, then polarizability will be higher and London forces will be stronger. That's why it exists in the solid state. The last major factor which is responsible for the strength of London forces is the number of atoms in a molecule. Number of atoms in a molecule means this major factor applies on the hydrocarbon. Hydrocarbon are the compounds which contains carbon and hydrogen only. For example, methane, ethane, propane, butane, and so on. Molecule having long chain is having stronger attractive forces, stronger London forces. Why? Because polarizability also depends upon the number of atoms. Greater the number of atoms, stronger will be the London dispersion forces. For example, hexane is liquid and ethane is a gas. In the same way, the boiling point of hexane is also higher as compared to ethane. Why? Because in hexane there are 6 carbon atoms and in ethane there are 2 carbon atoms. In the case of hexane, there are more points of attachment, more contact points for making London dispersion force. That's why more heat is required to boil it. That's why it exists in the liquid state. And in the case of ethane, there are 2 carbon atoms. So that's why the intermolecular forces in the case of ethane, they will be weaker as compared to hexane, and boiling point will also be less. So these are the major factors which are responsible for the strength of London forces: atomic size, polarizability, and number of atoms in a molecule. Thank you.